Now, how did you wind up making the move to North Carolina and Winston Cup?
So back to Rusty, right? Rusty and Alan were, of course, now we raced against Alan with Rusty, in the ASA days and Artco racing. So I knew Alan, but I didn't know him like, like a friend or anything like that. Just knew him, had acquaintance and stuff like that. So we, we ran around with him like we did with Mark Martin and all that stuff. Just kind of we all ran the same roads, so we kind of got to know each other. So, but Rusty and Alan were talking at the banquet, I believe, in '87, right? So '87, and Alan's giving Rusty all his woes, and basically Rusty said, "You need to call Paul." He said, "I know he's he's in Oklahoma, and he was a great guy, and I think he would do you a good job, So that's kind of how it started. Alan called me up and said, "Hey, Paul," and that was around banquet time, and I was working for him. I think maybe basically January 1 I was there, but I think however the day of the week worked, but basically the 1st of January I was there.
So you started work for Alan in 1988?
1988, right.
As crew chief?
As crew chief, yep.
You had been around him in your ASA days. What was your impression of Alan back then?
So, a little different individual for sure, which, I can say that after knowing him too, a little different individual. He did things, you can say he did things his own way, but did things a little different than what we did, what Rusty and I did. So, doesn't necessarily mean it's wrong, it was just different, but, he's come from Wisconsin and obviously, and he was, they raced a lot up there, 6 or 7 nights a week. So I can, after everything's like I said, like you always say, hindsight's 20/20, So after looking back at everything, you kind of understand how he did the things he did, and working with him, you understand why he did the things he did. But he worked hard. He was, went through people in his ASA car a little bit like he did in his Cup car to start off with, but always a fast guy, that was probably what we looked at more than anything else back then when we'd show up at some of those racetracks, especially when we go down south to some of the Artco races. Oh no, here comes Alan. There's another guy we got to beat. You know what I mean? So that's the way we looked at him. He's a different guy at night, not necessarily at night, but after not at the racetrack, than he was at the racetrack. He's a very focused individual at the racetrack. He'd come over to Rusty and ask Rusty what he's doing. Rusty'd tell him, and Alan would may or may not tell him what he was doing. I don't know how that was at the time. But we all talked, we all kind of was around each other a lot back then.